Hello again, everyone. I am Mark Thompson with Watermark Data, and you are watching Alteryx tutorials. Today's session, we're going to be covering weekly challenge number 87, and it's going to be a conversion of time minutes so that we can understand how much daylight there is and how much it changes from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. Let's jump in. Here is our setup and overall quick part of it. You can see I've put the containers around it, the comments, if you will. And remember, you do that, all you have to do is grab it, drag it, expand it, color it. Over here, we've got a text input file, and this is what we've got. We've simply got a sunrise and a sunset, and we are going to identify the changes that occur. So the first thing we do, we've got this null row up the top, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. Skip first n row, here's n, that's 1. Now let's take a look at the time formats. So first thing I want to do is I want to break out. I've got this 6:28 a.m. with this other stuff at the back of it. I don't need that. I just want the 6:28 a.m. So here I use Regex and I parse it out, and I only want one portion of it. So I've got a /d, that's digits, specifically a colon. Then I've got exactly 2 digits, .am, because in this instance, I am looking at the sunrise. Notice our column to parse is the sunrise. So I don't need to worry about the AM, PM aspect of it here. Notice I don't have a second column here. I'm not worrying about parsing out this little arrow and 79 degrees. The next thing I do is I'm going to take that 6:28, 29, 30, 31, and I'm going to do a conversion. I'm going to do a time conversion. And both of these tools, by the way, are in the parse menu, both my regex up here, as well as my time conversion, DateTime. So we've gone over this before. And what you have here is, in this instance, I've got a custom format. Now, this format is a %I, %M, %P. I've got a web page I'll include down in the comments section that will link to a page that will give you the shorthand for these things. What we have got going on is it's telling it it's coming in this format. That's this 6:28 a.m. format. And what it will do is it will convert that into, and I called the column out, I specified the name, I said sunrise format, and it'll put it out. It'll take that 6:28 a.m. because it knows that's the format coming in, and it will convert it, excuse me, to 6:28. All right. Now, I do the exact same thing. This is the sun up. I do the exact same thing with the sunset. So I do this, and I've got a sundown time now, 7:20, 7:30 p.m., etc. And those are getting shorter. And then I regex that as well. And then a simple cleanup. I don't need some of those other columns anymore. I don't need these first two. So I uncheck them. So let's start out, and I want you to watch down here in the data area as I simply click from one to the next. This is where we start. We add the sun up. We format the sun up. We add the sun down. We format the sun down. We get rid of a couple of columns. Now we want to add the daylight minutes. Notice how that happens, right? We start out with this. We get rid of the top. We add on, we format, we add on, we format, we select. Now we add the minutes, and then we'll do a formula where we calculate the change. But let's talk about this for a minute. So I do a date time difference. And that is a format of one field, the sun set, comma, the sunrise, comma, and then you actually call out whether you want it minutes, days, hours. In our case, we're looking for minutes, and we can put in single and double quotes. I happen to use double. And the column that's added is right here. So now we're looking at how many minutes. Now what I want to know is how many minutes does it change each day? And that's what this column now does. So if you notice the difference between the 82 and the 80, minus 2. The 80 to 77, minus 3, etc. Here is the formula. We're using a multi-row. Very simple formula. I created a new field and called it daily change. And I don't need a grouping in this case. I have used group in other videos. In this case, I'm saying if sep equals 1, which is this first column, by the way, I called that September. Actually, I think that was set up right at the beginning. It was. And so I look at this and say, if it's September equals 1, then 0. Otherwise, the minutes minus the row, minus row 1, so the row above it, minutes. End if. Simple enough. So this simply says subtract that from that, and I've got a -2. So it's getting shorter every single day. 780 minus 782, and on down. Now here I split. Here I do a split, and I'm going to summarize. And it doesn't ask for minutes in the challenge, but I summarized it anyways. I'm going to summarize the minutes, and I'm going to summarize the daily change. So when we come down here, we actually look at this, and we don't need to group it on anything. We simply say, what's the sum of the minutes? What's the sum of the daily change? And our result, 22,359 minutes. And we're 74 minutes shorter than we started the month. Here I am simply adding a formula tool so that I can say September total and put it in a column. Now I take and I union these together. And if you look at this, I manually configure the columns so that I put the date here. And I put the summary of the minutes and the daily change under the minutes and the daily change. What that provides you, because I called this date, mind you here, I called that date, I said September total. When we put them together and we go down to the bottom, I now have a row that says September total, minutes, and change. Again, I do a cleanup, get rid of that, and there we get to the end. So now we're looking at what day of September, sun comes up, sun goes down, how many minutes per day, and what was our change. I'm Mark Thompson. This has been Watermark Data. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the share. Please tell all your friends about it and provide comments down in the bottom. Look forward to the next one.